Welcome to Engineer Your Space. I'm Isabel LaRue, your host. Many rental apartments, including mine, are just plain boring white boxes with no architectural details whatsoever. I have the perfect non-permanent solution for this. It's these beautiful floating wall panels that you can customize any way you want and even add lighting to. And the best part is you can take them with you when you move out. You're only going to need two types of materials to build your panels. The first one is this tempered hardboard that's 1/8 of an inch thick. Now you can get this at hardware stores. They come in sheets of 8 feet by 4 feet and cost about $8. Now what's great about this is you can get it cut at the hardware store any way you like. So I had mine cut so that I would end up with two panels that are 2 feet wide by 6 feet long. Now the only other thing that you'll need are furring strips like these. This is really inexpensive rough lumber that's perfect for framing. You get 8 feet for about $1. Not bad. Now because it's rough lumber, you want to make sure when you're picking your pieces that you get ones that are straight, because you will find the odd one that's a bit crooked. Now this is going to serve to make our frame here at the back of the panel so that it's raised from the wall and gives that floating look. And it's also where we're going to attach our lighting a little bit later on. Now because I don't want to see my frame from the side, I'm going to place it so that it's about 2 inches from the edge. So that means I had to cut my pieces for each panel to have 2 that are 68 inches long and 2 that are 17 inches long. And you can get that cut at the hardware store as well. Now once you do have all your materials ready at the store, I would really recommend bundling them all together, either with tape or with this saran wrap like tape here. It's going to make transportation so much easier. And then all you need is one friend to help you out, and you can even take this home on the subway with you if you want. I just wouldn't recommend doing that at rush hour. Once you have all your materials at home, it's time to put the frame on the back of the hardboard panel. Now you're going to want to flip it over so that the rough side is facing you. That's the side you want to attach the frame to. And to do that, I'm going to use liquid nails. You can also use wood glue. It's not going to make any holes in the panel, so it's going to stay nice and smooth. And to make sure everything bonds nicely together, I'm going to put some clamps to add some pressure. Now if you don't have clamps, you can always use a heavy object like a box of books to put on top of the furring strips. That'll work too. So you want to repeat that for all 4 pieces and let everything dry for 24 hours. That's going to make sure you get the strongest bond possible. So I'm going to finish putting together this frame, and then it's going to be on to lighting. I tend to overdo it on the glue so it oozed out from the sides. Just use less glue to avoid that. For the lighting, I'm going to use this rope light kit. It's going to give off a really nice soft glow from behind the panel. Now this doesn't come with a switch, so to take care of that, I'm going to use this dimmer switch. And I'm going to use it with this 3-way adapter. That way I can plug both rope light kits into the adapter, and by plugging that into the light switch, I'll be able to control both panels with one switch. Now installing the rope light is really easy. It comes with these clips and screws that you basically just have to install evenly spaced around the frame. And then it's just a matter of taking the rope light and putting it in the clip. These kits come in 12 feet or 18 feet lengths. 12 feet is actually too short, so I ended up using the 18 feet one. That cost about $16. Now that did leave me with some extra rope light, but I just doubled it up and tied it up with zip ties. There are so many different ways you can decorate these panels. That's what I love about this project. You can really customize the look of these to anything you want. You could upholster them with foam and fabric. If you're handy with a paintbrush, you can also come up with some really cool patterns, like I did here, where I painted a border and then I filled in the inside with a circle stencil. Now stenciling can be really time consuming, so the option I'm going to show you is actually using wallpaper. Now the wallpaper I'm using is 20.5 inches wide, which means that I can cover one panel with one strip. So I'll have room to paint a border around my wallpaper that's going to be 1 3/4 of an inch thick. Now I've already gone ahead and primed my hardboard here, and I did sand the edges to smooth them out before painting. Now before I go and install the wallpaper, I'm going to paint my border, and that's going to act like a frame for my wallpaper. Now I don't have to be precise with this because my wallpaper is going to cover up the inside edge. Because there's not a whole lot of surface area to cover, a paint sample is more than enough for this project. Once the paint is dry, you mark the exact width of the border, and then it's time for wallpaper. I've already gone ahead and cut my wallpaper to the length that I want it to be on my panel. Now, because my wallpaper isn't pre-pasted, I'm going to have to put some adhesive on the back. Now, I'm putting some gloves on because you don't want to get any of this stuff on your hands. You want to start in the middle, and then to avoid getting glue on the front of the wallpaper, you always push the brush strokes outwards at the edges. Then you fold over 2/3 of the wallpaper onto itself to make it easier to handle. Then you line up the wallpaper with your border marks and then smooth out any air bubbles with a wet rag. Unfold the rest of the wallpaper and smooth out the remaining air bubbles. What a difference from the plain white walls that I had before. I love the way the panels dress up the wall. They really add a lot of personality to the room. And they're super easy to install, just like a picture frame. And the lighting just adds the right touch of ambiance in the evening. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and for a complete resource guide on this project and other DIY tips and inspiration, go to engineeryourspace.com. And don't forget to join me on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. See you next time.